Hi, Karen Spell here. Welcome to 55 Active Adult Living. Today we're going to be discussing what is a 55 plus community. We're also going to talk about the difference between that, an age targeted, an age restricted, and an active adult living community. The U.S. Department of HUD, through the Federal Housing Act, prohibits classifications of parties from being discriminated against in housing, among them age. HOPA, or the Housing for Older Persons Act, identifies two classifications of communities that can limit residency due to age. The first classification is 62 plus. In a 62 plus community, all of the residents must be 62 years or older. This is not a very common type of community. The much more popular is the 55 plus community. In these communities, 80% of the occupied residences must contain at least one resident who is 55 years or older. What about the other 20%? Those are governed by the documents for that specific community, often called the Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions, or CCRs. Those CCRs can be more or less restrictive than the HOPA requirements. What's typical is the remaining 20% of residences must have at least one party who is between 45 and 54 years of age. Most communities also have the additional restriction that even if a resident is 55 years or older, they may not have someone residing in the home who is under 19 years of age. It's important to note an exception to both the HOPA requirements and CCRs of a community. If a 55-year or older resident is the legal guardian of a disabled adult, that adult can live in the community even if they don't meet the HOPA or the CCR requirements for that community. There's also an age-targeted community. In an age-targeted community, this is not covered under the HOPA Act, and it is in fact not age-restricted at all. It simply means that the community is designed for persons 55 and over, in that it includes in the HOA dues lawn maintenance, and the master bedroom is typically on the first floor of the resident, or it's a one-story residence. Again, there are no age restrictions whatsoever. You could move into this community and have a family of 5 living next door. The CCRs for these communities are typically not child-friendly, meaning that they typically prohibit basketball hoops, swing sets, trampolines, and other things associated with children. Another thing to remember is these communities are often associated with a quote all ages section of the community, and they share the amenities. So the age-targeted section of the community would share the same amenities as the untargeted section of the community. So all the people would enjoy the same pool, community, clubhouse, etc. Both of these classifications, the HOPA 1, 62 plus, 55 plus, and age-targeted, are commonly lumped together under the classification of active adult living community. This type of classification has no legal definition, and you need to be careful about what type of community you're actually looking at. Until next time, in our next edition, we're going to be discussing when is the best time to consider moving into one of these kinds of communities. And until then, I'll talk to you soon.